cloud is great. It solves a lot of real-world problems, but it's not just one cloud anymore. Public clouds, private clouds, edge clouds. The average business uses 5 different cloud providers. It's become chaotic and complex, with unpredictable costs, inconsistent security, multiple management tools, and different formats for workloads that span cloud platforms and providers. But it doesn't have to be that way. The Dell Technologies Cloud, powered by VMware, can be the one constant across your clouds. It brings consistent infrastructure and operations to your multi-cloud environment, so you can choose the right cloud for each application. A public cloud that lets you easily tap into services. A private cloud that's fully under your control. Or the edge with cloud as a service. With a true hybrid cloud experience, your business becomes more agile with simple workload migration and easy onboarding for new assets. Your teams get to market faster with simplified operations and automated processes. You reduce risk and strengthen your security profile. And with Dell Technologies Cloud, you have flexible consumption options, reducing your total cost of ownership. Like it or not, the business world often requires many clouds. Now, that's easier than ever, with consistent infrastructure, operations, and services across all your clouds. You get the cloud without the chaos. The Dell Technologies Cloud.
Thank you, everybody, for participating in the TiE50 and Meet the Drapers session this morning. We have audience from all over the world, and we are very fortunate to have Tim with us today. Just a quick introduction of the team that drove this program on the TiE side. So my name is Kamal Anand. I was a part of the TiE50 program for the last 3 years and chaired this program. Along with me is Vipul Singhal, who's an angel investor and also part of the the program chair for TiE50. And we are ably supported by people who do the real work. Genevieve, who's been extremely busy and coordinating this whole activity with all the companies, etc. Gayatri and Kalpi as well, helping us. I would request all the companies to not start their videos and audios. If you can actually go on mute, that would be great. Would like to just have the panelists on. So if you go to the next slide, Genevieve, just wanted to give you a perspective on TiE50. This is an award program where we invite invitations from all over the world for companies that are leveraging technology, typically early stage companies, because we are an entrepreneur organization. It has been a very successful program. Over the last 11 years, there have been, out of the winners, there have been 29 exits of over $100 million of these companies. Some went public, some were acquired by other public companies. But many of those companies, over 80%, went on to raise their next round of funding, in aggregate over $1 billion over the last 10 years out of the TiE50 winners. If you look at the 2020 applicant pool, again, we were very fortunate. We got applications from all over the world, in fact, from 10 countries, from Australia, Japan, Singapore, UK, India, US, etc. US obviously is the biggest contingent, but also we were fortunate to get applications from 10 US states. So startups and entrepreneurship is alive across the US, not just in Silicon Valley. And India was the second highest number of applications. And there too, we got applications from 6 states, which again shows that entrepreneurship and startups are pretty active in India as well. If you go to the next slide, Genevieve. So this year we are partnered with Meet The Drapers. So thank you, Tim and team, for partnering with TiE50 this year. Meet The Drapers is really a groundbreaking reality show where the viewers get to invest in the next big idea in tech. And as we all know, the Draper family is legendary in Silicon Valley. They meet some of these hot entrepreneurs in this live reality show and hunt for the next big unicorn idea. Tim Draper himself founded Draper Associates, DFJ, and the Draper Venture Network. He's been an early investor in more than 30 unicorns, including starting with Hotmail in the early days, to Skype, to Tesla, Baidu, Twitch, Robinhood. So all brand names that we are all very familiar with. He's also started the Draper University of Heroes. So we are very fortunate to have you. And Tim is going to be the main person who's going to be listening to the pitches, questioning the companies. And this is really a casting call to pick a couple of companies that go on to the next round to show at the actual show. I also wanted to welcome Prashant Shah. Genevieve can go to the next slide. He's also going to assist him in questioning some of these companies and understanding their business models. Prashant is a member of TiE for a long time. He has been an early investor in early stage companies since 2001. Currently is a partner at the Monta Vista Capital and also serves as the managing director of TiE Launchpad.
I've always chosen to surround myself by great people who are very forward-thinking when it comes to gender issues and diversity. I think diversity is a key and central element of any environment, and I've never been in an environment where diversity doesn't lead to a better place. From a science perspective, we know that if you have greater diversity of microbes, for example, in your gut, that you're more likely to be healthy. And that's finding of diversity of microbes in your gut. If you think about the diversity of people in a working environment, it leads to a healthier environment and more innovation.
So hello everyone, my name is Mark Elias. I'm the co-founder and CEO of SteadyWare. And today I'm going to talk about our brainchild, the SteadyOne, the world's first smart glove to stabilize tremors in essential tremor and Parkinson's disease. Essential tremor and Parkinson's disease cause debilitating hand tremors that make the simplest daily activities, such as eating, writing, and drinking, a real challenge. There are also social components to this condition, as tremors very often lead to social isolation and depression. And that's why we've worked tirelessly to develop the SteadyOne, the first device. It's a lightweight, compact, and responsive glove that stabilizes the wrist. It uses our novel battery-free damping technology, which combines a ball joint and a smart fluid to resist tremors while allowing voluntary motion. On the screen, you can see one of our testers, John. He has very severe tremors, and he's tried everything from medication to surgery, and nothing has worked as well for him as this device. So currently, patients are resorting to medication, such as propranolol and primidone, that were never designed for tremors and cause so many side effects. Weights, such as weighted pens or weighted gloves, that cause a severe strain on the wrist. We have the liftware spoon, a very elegant solution for eating, but unfortunately helps with only one activity. And finally, in emerging tech, there are a couple of companies in the late development stages. Their devices are very power hungry, only provide 40 minutes of stability, and are very expensive. And this is why the Steady device has a strong competitive advantage. We provide on-demand stabilization with a battery-free device. It's very affordable and its efficacy exceeds that of industry. Our clinical trial results are showing that 60% of individuals experience meaningful improvements in activities of daily living. There are 230 million individuals with tremors around the world, 10 million of which reside in North America. With an addressable population of 60% and an MSRP of $500, this adds up to a $4.8 billion market in North America alone. Our business model is straightforward. We sell our devices directly through our web platform, fueled by digital marketing strategies and working with foundations. Internationally, we have a distribution model. We have one distributor in Australia that is signed and 3 others in the sampling acceptance stage. We learned that our technology has to be under a pound, 1 step max to don and adjust. That's what we learned from our soft launch. And we're currently developing our miniature version that meets all these requirements and currently patent pending. And we're currently raising a seed round of $1 million at a $4 million pre-money valuation with the use of funds on the right-hand side. And of course, none of this is possible without our star team of researchers, scientists, entrepreneurs, and managers. And I believe that's my time. Thank you.
Terrific, Mark. Thank you. Yeah, my mother had Parkinson's and her father had Parkinson's, so I'm very familiar with this. And what my question here is, what do you do for an Encore? Once you've sold them the glove and it's working, do they pay a monthly, or is there some way to keep them as a customer, or is it like one time and done and then you move on like a used car salesman?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, for us, we offer the device. The starter kit is for $500, but the stabilizer is detachable from the device. So the glove itself has to be replaced every 3 months, roughly. So, there will be a recurring fee for glove replacements.
And after, and do you have plans for another product for these people? I mean, is there more than just sort of stabilizing their hand? And is it the same person? Like, are you going to keep pounding the Parkinson's, or are you going to go after other things?
Absolutely. So, with us in Parkinson's disease and essential tremor, which is actually has a higher prevalence of 10 to 1. The chief complaint is tremors in the hand. So that's where our company focuses, because we want to improve their ability to conduct daily life activities. So we have our second product now, the miniature version. And of course, our goal in the product pipeline is to miniaturize it further and automate the calibration with minimal power. So we have a whole pipeline ahead of us where the product is getting smaller, more affordable, and has automatic calibration features. Naturally, with the potential of our technology, since it is a big inventive step in the damping space, we're looking at licensing opportunities, of course, in over 14 different sectors.
Give me an
maximize the
example.
potential.
Give me an example of one of those sectors.
Certainly. So let's look at machinery stabilization. Typically, you have in industrial machines a lot of unwanted noise that reduce the efficiency of the overall system. The stabilizers they're currently using are very outdated and require extremely customized solutions and a lot of maintenance. With us, we're creating a universal stabilizer that can be really attached to any machine and requires no maintenance whatsoever.
Now, tell me a little bit about the competition. You showed the spoon, and I met those people too. And then you showed the pills, and then you showed something that looked just like your product.
Yeah.
But you said that it has a bad battery or something.
Correct. So let me go to the competition slide so I can elaborate more. So this is the emerging technology category. So in the emerging tech, I have, this is the Gyrogear company. They're based out of the UK. So these guys use a powered gyroscope on the wrist. It requires a significant amount of power, and they haven't commercialized anything yet. Naturally, they're facing a lot of safety and regulatory issues. But
are you going to have you're going to have those too, right? You have to go through FDA and everything else, right?
Yeah, well, we're FDA registered and Health Canada registered as well. So we've already completed that phase. Yeah. And the competitive advantage here is that we're batteryless, and our efficacy results are matching, even exceeding those.
Sorry, how does it work then? If you have no battery, how does it work?
Great question. So I actually have a device here. I can perhaps show you that way. It's a bit more clear.
Gentlemen, 30-second warning.
The technology here is inspired by earthquake design. So we have a counterbalancing mass and repulsive magnetic fields. So as soon as the hand starts shaking, the system naturally counteracts it with the custom magnets. And that's only one component. Here we have a ball joint with a smart fluid. So when I move the ball really slowly, it's very soft. But then when I accelerate, it instantly stiffens. So it's stabilizing the wrist and the forearm as well. Yeah.
Clever.
Thank you.
Now, you were we're out of time, but my concern might be how well protected it is, and maybe you can answer that.
We have three IP filings with very positive feedback from the patent office, if that's what you're addressing.
Yeah, sort of, but I feel like people just copy it anyway, and you have to deal with that.
Yeah, and with our customized magnetic fields, it actually would be very difficult to copy. That's one of our advantages. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark and Tim. I think we are out of time for this session. Thank you very much, Mark. If you want to go off mute,
thank you so much for your time
and stop sharing the screen, that would be helpful logistically. One thing I forgot to mention: Women Venture Partners, which also partners with the Draper family, really helped us select these companies that showed up out of the TiE50. So I really wanted to thank Women Venture Partners as well. The next company up is Agnicool Cosmos. If you can share your screen, and the other panelists, if you cannot share your video specifically, that would be very helpful. So with that, I will hand it over to Agnicool, who's calling in all the way from India.
Hi, thank you, Kamal. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Tim. I think it's an honor to present to you. I'm going to talk about our company called Agnicool, where we are building small rockets that take satellites to space. Let me just share my screen in a second. Can you see my screen? Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're building a rocket, a bunch of rockets that can take, really small satellites to space. And we were founded, with the based on the idea that going to space should not be the hardest part of doing something from space, which sort of seems like what is it today for the small satellites. A vehicle is capable of carrying 100 kgs to low Earth orbit from any launch port in the world, and can be made within, a 72-hour time frame. So that is what we're targeting. And for people who are not really closely following the industry, we sort of do what SpaceX does at a very, very, very small level, at a 100 kg level, where they carry tons and tons of mass to space. So that is what we're actually doing. What is the real problem here? Small satellites today are forced to do a ride share because it does not make economical sense to launch a large satellite to take them to space. Ride share is not efficient because you need to find the right set of people to team up with, and usually your terms are dictated by a big satellite that's going to space. So this is an example of an image here where there's a big satellite from one of India's launches. You have all these other small satellites, and they had to wait for the big satellite to actually launch. And this is a problem of the size of about $4 billion per year by 2025. That is the prediction. Today, we think just the small satellite mass that is being put in orbit is somewhere around about $2 billion per year. We expect it to double in the next 4 to 5 years, dominated by imaging and communication. But we have a lot of other interesting use cases as well, and I'll talk about that probably when we have time in the Q&A. Coming to Agnicool, what do we do? Our launch vehicle Agniban is a launch where you want vehicle where you can access any of the 77 launch ports across the world, and it is tailor-made for a particular satellite mass to go to orbit. So how do we really do this? 3 strategies. One, our engines are single-piece rocket engines. The entire engine is printed in one shot through 3D printing. There are no assembly pieces out there. So the entire engine from the nozzle to the injection part is one piece 3D printed. Second, we have a pay-for-what-you launch model where it is not like a one-size-fits-all rocket. The rocket can be scaled lower, and people who follow the industry might know that actually mostly can scale up, or rockets are scaled up, but we can actually scale it down. And that is an advantage that we have, which could probably end us, making it cheaper than most of the rockets. And finally, of course, the mobile launch pad itself, which I've already told you like 2 times now. We have a couple of launches lined up next year. So this is from out of Europe. Two people are willing to fly with us on a test launch. We also have launches lined up starting from 2022, which is when we think will be commercial. And we already have letters of intent with about 5 people today for about 25 to 30 launches starting from 2022. What have we done today? Where are we today? Done a lot of the engine testing. We have a facility that we built from scratch, and we're preparing for our first flight, which probably is going to be from Alaska, Kodiak Island. So it's going to be like an Indian vehicle from Europe launching out of a US launch port. So that I think will truly also prove the the mobile part of the vehicle itself. Recognition, we qualified for the DARPA Launch Challenge. So that was a good validation for our model of launching anywhere, anytime. We are also recognized as a top innovator in India by Economic Times, which is a leading newspaper there. And we are recognized by the Indian Space Research Organization for complementing their efforts on the tech we are developing. Quick background on what we have done so far. We've raised about $3.5 million till now. This was used for our facility building and engine testing and so on. Right now, we're in the market for a bridge round of about $2 million, where we could actually go and do a first flight launch. And after that, probably we'll have to raise another round of money, about $6 million, to go to orbit. So ours is a $10 million to orbit story, sort of. Future expansion, of course, this is just one set of tools that we're building. This can be used like a plug and play library to build whatever we want to go to space. Those deep space missions and bigger rockets, all of these also open up as we go on. So yeah, we have a 60-member team today operating out of Chennai. We also have 7 scientists from the Indian Space Research Organization. 2 rocket scientists are in the founding team, and it's me and my other co-founder who have been doing all of the other work in terms of leading the ops and the investment side. Thank you.
Terrific. Well, great. Thank you, Srinath. I backed a company just like this about 4 years ago, doing exactly the same thing. And he ran out of money, but one thing that sort of deterred him was that SpaceX's launches are, by being big, they're much more efficient. And so they can beat you on price every single time. And by launching individual rockets, it becomes more costly. So, you know, maybe there are still some applications where people have to get it done right now, but how have you thought about that?
Yeah, so I think the challenge with a bigger rocket like that of SpaceX is the whole ride-share concept, right? And you might know this, but not all satellites can be addressed at the same time. Even if it's a large constellation, you can address only one orbital plane or a few orbital planes around, and you need multiple launches. What we've also heard from people is the last 20% of any constellation of satellites will still have to be done, one or two at a time. And so these people still end up waiting to put their satellites in space. So that is one challenge. The other thing is just the India cost operating advantage, right? So we have the facilities available here in India. We're operating out of a workshop in a really good campus here in Chennai, and that has already gotten us this far. We've raised about $4 million, and we've already done our engine testing, and we're ready for at least a first test flight. So I think that capital efficiency is what we have going for us.
When's your first test flight?
We're planning it June 2021 out of Kodiak, Alaska.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And how much more per kilogram are you guys going to be than a SpaceX Falcon 9?
So we are trying to keep the dollars per kg to be around $12,000 per kg for us. That is what the company is going to incur, right? Now, how that translates to the market would depend really upon what a customer is willing to pay for the opportunity cost that he won't pay because of going.
Right. What does SpaceX charge?
SpaceX charges around, I think, $20,000 per kg today.
So you actually think you're going to get down below them?
That is what it is going to cost us, yes. So we can put a price on whatever we think.
Oh, I see. That it costs you $12K.
Yes,
then
it costs me $12K.
you have to charge maybe $24K or something. So it'll be a little bit more expensive.
More. Yes, that's right.
And is there anything special about your rocket that is there anything special about the design? Is it reusable? Any of these things?
So the two aspects. One is the rocket engine, which is a single piece engine, as we're calling it, where the entire rocket engine is printed in one shot. So there is no human interference involved in making of a rocket engine completely. No robots, nothing. It's just one 3D printer doing the engine. And that is cheaper for qualification and for processing. Second is the ability to fly with different number of engines, even in a very, very tight range. Between 20 kgs and 100 kgs to space, we could either fly with 4.
Hang on, the whole rocket is printed 3D in 3D
the whole
printer?
rocket engine. The whole rocket engine.
Oh, just the engine.
The engine.
Okay.
The engine. The engine part.
But then you have to assemble it, right?
Yes, absolutely, right.
Yeah, you should really talk to this guy, Nadir Bagaviv, who started, and I'll introduce you. If you send me an email, tim@draper.vc,
sure.
and I'll introduce you to him because he did exactly the same thing. He did a 3D printed engine. He was going to assemble the rocket. He got the thing firing, but then ran out of money. But a part of it was because he was, I would like to hear what he thinks about that. I think it'd be really, and for you, he might be a good board member or something.
Absolutely, Tim. Sure.
Guys, time is up.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
Srinath.
Thank you.
And the next company up is Sentry Ai. So if Sentry Ai can start streaming.
Yep. Thank you so much, Tim and the rest of the TiEcon team. Appreciate the opportunity. So my name is Uday Chaka. I'm the founder and CEO of Sentry Ai. We are a team of 18 mostly masters and PhDs from well-known universities and reputed technology companies. Looking at the research studies and the high-profile incidents, you actually know that human mind cannot continuously monitor security cameras without missing half the critical events. Furthermore, cameras are becoming ubiquitous, and these can become really powerful IoT devices that can help us confirm that, say, the shoppers are wearing masks and are practicing social distancing. This monitoring market is pretty large, and it's being disrupted by video analytics solutions, which total around 4.1 billion today and growing rapidly at 23% CAGR. And leading this disruption is Sentry Ai. And our distinction is that we are first and foremost an AI company. Our AI thinks logically like a human, and it never gets tired. And also, it gets better over time, in fact, by using all the data. We offer 3 tiers of security and safety products. The first one, the basic tier, allows our customers to detect people and vehicles in restricted areas very accurately. Our monitoring tier allows them to be proactive about their security by recognizing people and vehicles who are entering their premises. And lastly, our premium tier broadens this monitoring to allow COVID compliance and detecting loitering and fallen people and other behaviors, and ensures community well-being. Our products are all SaaS offerings, so we adopt open standards to integrate with any existing cameras and security infrastructure. Our smart monitoring platform can be accessed over desktops, over mobile phones and tablets, and we sell directly to strategic buyers and monitoring stations, and to SMB through resellers. We actually have deployed on 25,000 security cameras in 35 countries and processed more than 130 million images, covering high-end homes, offices, universities, and smart cities. We have raised a total of $1.7 million from police officers, from technology executives and angels, and preparing for an institutional round. And again, we are Sentry Ai, and we are determined to make the world smarter and safer. Come join us.
So great. How far are you from revenue, or have you sold it to anybody?
Yeah. So we have paid customers, and we are now at around $100,000 in ARR, and our target is to hit about 500K ARR by the end of this year.
Okay, so about 8,000 a month, and that's all in SaaS?
All SaaS, that's correct.
And how much of that has come from each of your 4 categories, the corporate, the security, the COVID, and the...
Yeah, so we primarily went through first partner, which has mostly high-end homes and some SMB. So a lot of our revenue is from there. And our next set, actually, we are announcing a partnership with Eagle Eye Networks. You might know Dean Draco of Barracuda Networks. So he started this company. So we are the preferred AI solution on their platform. They have thousands of security resellers, and we are expecting that to present anywhere between $100 to $200 million of ARR. So we're very excited about that, and we'll be announcing it soon. So our revenue mix will change primarily to these offices and these security resellers. And also they have a lot of smart city projects, and that's where we expect our next set of revenue to come from.
Now you said you have 80 people or 18 people? 18, sorry.
Yeah. The number we
I was wondering, I thought India's cheap, but it's not that cheap.
No, most of our team is actually located in the Silicon Valley. We are in Sunnyvale. We just opened a smaller office in India with 4 people.
Hey, Uday, can I ask you a little bit about what makes, what you're doing different than a lot of the other security companies that are also using similar AI type approaches here?
Absolutely, Prashant. So our big differentiation is that we infer a lot of information from just an image as compared to processing the full video, and that significantly changes our cost structure. And that also allows us to provide more accuracy in terms of being able to sample more images as needed. So the big distinction is in using a lot of information from a single image as compared to like a full video.
So if you're doing that, what's the effect on things like false positives, false negatives, et cetera?
So that's where we actually used a lot of these, the images that we gathered so far from security cameras to prepare or to build proprietary AI models to reduce the false positives and false negatives significantly. And of course, we stack our algorithm primarily towards reducing false negatives because the cost of missing an alert is much higher. And so we have reduced the false negatives completely. And on the false positive side, it's in the, from our customers, basically they tell us it's in the manageable range for them. They get only a couple of false positives, and for them, that's totally within their range.
And then how, I mean, I get a little worried, you know, I read 1984 when I was a kid, and I get a little worried when it's like COVID monitoring, making sure people are wearing masks. You know, it's like, it makes me feel like I'm going to be doing the goose step. What is there a market that's evolving there? Are governments starting to say, yeah, I want something to make sure people are wearing their masks, or I'm going to arrest them and torture them?
So our focus, Tim, has been primarily on private enterprises. So if they already have a policy which says, hey, these are the behaviors I want to monitor in my premises, so that's who we are targeting. We are not at this point selling to government or to defense. Very purposefully, we chose the private enterprises to be our first and primary customer segment. So as such, it would be equivalent. Whatever we do is equivalent to having a person sit and watch the security cameras. What we are trying to do is to help this person be more effective. Today, if you think about this Epstein case or any of these, right? I mean, a guy dies in a New York high security prison, and the guards could not catch, right? And that's possible because it's a very tiring and mundane job that does not help them do their job efficiently, and the AI is just helping them to surface more relevant and important events to their notice and for their action. So
are
that's
you
how
going to have to tailor? Are you going to have to tailor your AI to each application?
At a broad level, so it's primarily around this kind of intrusion detection, around recognizing people. These are quite cookie cutter, Tim. But when it gets into specifics, for example, one customer actually is asking us, hey, somebody is coming and dumping their trash, on my office premises, I need you to catch it, right? So now this becomes a little bit of a custom work, right? So on top of what we already have, like vehicle detection, now I have to detect this particular vehicle at this particular time, doing this particular action is, requiring a more important alert. So there are a few like that we need to customize, and we'll obviously charge higher for that. But a lot of others, right? 90% of our use cases are pretty cookie cutter. Once we create it for a particular vertical, like offices, or it could be like restaurants, like McDonald's, or it could be hotels, then it is pretty much applicable across that industry vertical.
30 seconds, guys.
Yeah.
Terrific. Anything else you want to tell us, or any of the judges have another question?
Actually, I do have one final question for you. So
sure.
In your technology, the basic level of intrusion detection has been around in video analytics for a long time. So are you going deeper than that? For example, are you able to identify when somebody walks across the hall? Oh, this is just the security guard. I don't need to
absolutely. Absolutely. Let me actually show you something very quickly, right? So this will make this, you can look at this, right? So this basically is almost like a pitch dark image, right? But actually there are people, and there are small pixel differences that detect that there is a human outline. And this is a person kind of peeking through, and we can detect them. And this is something that we confirm, right? So first of all, we have some intellectual property, Tim and Prashant, just so you know. And also, so we actually have confirmed this with Eagle Eye Network, which is a $2 billion company in this space, that on their video management platform, they have been testing a lot of video analytics solutions, Prashant, and ours is cannot be compared to anyone else. We actually had another bake-off that was sponsored by Stanley Black & Decker, and they had a bake-off with 4 AI companies pitching all the video analytics solutions, and we came on top there as well. So we are very proud of our AI, and we can hold it against anyone else's, and we can show that ours outperforms.
Uday, thank you very much. Really appreciate your presentation, and your time's up. So next up is Clocker. If you can, stop sharing your screen, appreciate that. And next up is Clocker. So, and that will be wonderful if you can start sharing.
Awesome. Let me. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. We all own several dozens of online accounts, including emails, Amazon credit, cryptocurrency, social media, and many more. Many people are unaware that you need to have a legacy plan for all your digital assets and online accounts, just like you would for all of your physical assets. Now you may ask, why exactly is this even a problem? Stranded accounts are often a prime target for identity theft, and over 2.5 million identities are stolen each year from deceased individuals. On top of this, there are 35 million Bitcoin users who don't have a plan for how they're going to pass on their wealth to their families. Hi everyone, my name is Apoorva Chintala. I'm a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm also a co-founder of Clocker Incorporated. Clocker, short for Cloud Blocker, is an all-in-one legacy planning platform for all of your digital assets and online accounts. We offer many unique services to our customers, including a will for your online accounts and digital assets, a digital wallet for your master passwords and cryptocurrency private keys, a super secure cloud blocker for all of your important digital assets and documents, and a digital time capsule so you can pass on your values and your legacy. We help our families protect and pass on their digital property the legal way. As you can see, there are many point solutions in the market today, but we are the only solution that offers an all-in-one platform for our customers. The other companies as well only offer basic security and standard encryption, which is not ideal considering that you are entrusting this company with all of your important documents and information. Our unfair advantage is our patent pending solution. We currently have 3 patents that are pending. We shred the files and we disperse them across multiple cloud platforms. We believe that our market potential is global. Any family that has a digital asset or an online account is able to use our solution, which in this day and age, that number is only going to increase. Our go-to-market strategy is to form B2B2C partnerships with many companies, including ones that offer employee benefits, financial planning, senior living services, estate planning, and many more. Over the past few months, we have launched 2 of our products, and we are currently in conversations with many of these companies to form partnerships, and we hope to finalize many of these over the next few months. We are venturing into uncharted territory, and we are paving the way for properly dispersing and cleaning up digital litter that we all leave behind. We have a very well-established roadmap, and we are aggressively seeking strategic partnerships at this point. All of our tech and patent applications are paid for, and we have no debt and have a very low burn rate. On top of this, we have an amazing team with over 300 plus years of combined experience in many industries, and we hope to utilize these connections to form our B2B2C partnerships. Our vision is to transform this age-old industry through innovation, automation, and modernization. Help us help you protect your family. Thank you so much, and I can now answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, so how did this get started? Did somebody die and you lost some stuff, or what made you start this? Or did Sri start it and you joined him?
Yeah, so we started this company together. Sri is my dad. A few years ago, my grandfather passed away. He lived in India and all his stuff was in India. And so my dad went there because he's the oldest child, trying to organize all of his estate. And essentially there was just these dozens and dozens of boxes of just all this random paperwork, and like nothing was organized. So you can only imagine how difficult it was to try to mourn and grieve like the loss in our family, but then also have to deal with this other legal problems and all this other things. So that is essentially where we started off. And as we talk to people, potential customers and things like that, we realize this is a very common problem amongst a lot of families. And that's essentially why we decided to pursue this as a solution for people.
So I've done a lot of this, but wouldn't people just want to do this with separate companies? I mean, I would want to do this with Ledger or Coinbase, to, or maybe some of the other places to do what happens when my Bitcoin, what happens when I die to my Bitcoin. What are you thinking going into that business? Because that custody business is highly technical and very, and they've been, you know, they get people are trying to hack into them all the time, and they, you know, so far have been able to hold it together, knock on wood.
Right.
But you'd be getting into that part of, I get you want to like have a storage place for maybe all your photos and maybe all your most interesting emails and most interesting social media, but storing currency, I think, is going to be a unique industry in itself. Are you sure you want to go after that one?
Tim, we are evaluating that. That's a great question. So our main core service that we are offering is the online accounts, social media accounts, email storage. We want to make sure that the family has legal access to those, and then after something happens, they clean up. That is our prime focus. We have been getting some interesting conversations with the Bitcoin companies on, I have Bitcoin, how do I pass this on to family? I don't want to share the private key today. What do you have? And we are still evaluating and validating to see if that's an area that we want to get into. And we are bringing in some more advisors to value. We haven't made any decisions on that. That's a big area, big risk area, high risk area, but we are confident that the security platform we built will be able to support the security aspects of it. We're not actively going to be as a hot digital wallet for Bitcoin transactions. It'll be a legacy plan for the private key. So they don't use it actively, but they keep it, and then our security, we distribute the sharded keys across multiple locations. So we're not intending them to use it right away, but when the family needs it or when somebody passes away, we have a way to do it. And stunningly, I haven't found
by the way, they do too. I mean, they've worked that out. Both Ledger and Coinbase and probably Gemini. I interviewed many of them before deciding where to put my my crypto and who to custody it. But in the custody program, they are covered, or at least the way we laid it out. We're covered that if I die, then it knows where it's supposed to go. So I think what I'm thinking you might want to be is that front end to all that, and just use Ledger or Coinbase as a back end to what, you know, because I don't think you want to be in that. I don't think you want to be in that business. It's going to be highly competitive, and they have a long lead on you. But the part you do have is, now, one other thing, I guess your competition is people who are just willing to give their kids their social media passwords.
Correct.
Is that, and then how do you do it? Let's say I've got a bunch of social media, and I want to, if I die, I want to be able to pass that on to my kids. What, how does that work?
So
let me just let me add to that question a little bit, because you know, pretty much every social media platform, and as Tim pointed out, every you know, Bitcoin locker, et cetera, all these wallets, they have something to pass on legacy. I mean, Facebook has it, Gmail has it, and it seems like that would be your bigger competition, is how do you get the mind share in the consumer that says, rather than just using what's available through the platform itself, I'm going to come and use Clocker. How do you get over that hurdle?
And that's a great question. And we spent more than 6 months in working with a legal firm, law firm out of Philadelphia that specializes in digital assets. Surprisingly, most companies, I would say 99% of the companies, do not have a death account or deletion account process in place. What Google has is very lukewarm, doesn't even meet the actual requirements of a family, and then they keep throwing wrenches in that process. And also the Facebook has somewhat it is, but really the problem we are attending is twofold, right? We are trying to solve. One, we as users, we have almost 100+ online accounts, and I need to have a way to document them, catalog them, and manage it. I'm not sharing the passwords today with them. And there is a legal framework that is called RUFADA, R-U-F-A-D-A-A, that has guidelines given, and 47 plus states adopted those. Our solution complies with those rules. So we are providing a legal framework for individuals to set up a legacy plan for online accounts, digital assets, and the whole gamut of it. And then if something happens to a person, they can take that legal framework and go to Google or go to Facebook and so on. Literally that as a business, nobody is offering this in one place. So if we have to do that, we have to go to all these 100 accounts, Google, Facebook, PayPal, Amazon, and set it up individually. We are consolidating all that into it. And we are planning to work with those companies to make it as a standard. And this is an emerging area. There is really nothing standards out there. And we are the only ones doing it in the US.
Guys, 30 seconds.
Great.
I'll encourage you to also take a look at one other potential competition for you guys, and that's in the password managers. There are some password managers now that offer a legacy pass on. And so, you know, if I pass away, my master password just goes to whoever I tell the program to go send it to. And it's smart because, like, if I don't log in periodically or whatever, it'll ping me to make sure I'm still alive, basically. And after a certain amount of time that goes by, it'll automatically send the appropriate information to whoever whoever I deemed.
Right. So that's a great point as well. So we are very aware of the password managers, and we're not competing in that space in what they do. We offer two things. One, Clocker can be a place for storing the master password for those as well. And we're also offering integration. And the legal framework that the password managers, they're not doing it the right way, at least that I haven't seen. I mean, there are only a handful of them.
No, but they have the benefit that people use them all the time. One of the challenges with Clocker is going to be that this will not be top of mind on a regular basis. This will be part of a legacy planning. And from a consumer point of view, one of the things you want to make sure is that the consumer's engaged with your platform on a regular basis so that you don't forget about it.
Correct. And exactly. So we are in the planning phase of collaborating. We're not going to compete with the features that the password managers offer. There is a room for us to collaborate on that. The second, you are very true that the features, this is not an engagement platform. We are making it one like a TurboTax style, where this is a gray area. Nobody wants to sit there for days to collaborate. So we are actually making it very easy, user-friendly, where this can be an online and engagement features or features that are available on that. So we are actively working on that as well.
Thank you, Apurva and Shri. Appreciate your presentation, and I think your time's up. So I would request you to stop sharing. Next company up is Lsk Technologies, and people who are not presenting, Zateris, if you can go on, stop your video, that would be helpful. So I will hand it over to Lsk now.
Hi, thank you for having me. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. So today, most lab tests are shipped to large centralized labs, and it takes days to get the results. At Lsk, we make a small device that can rapidly test for infectious diseases at point of need, such as workplaces and doctor's offices. So why now? Advances in computer vision has largely replaced complex legacy hardware with computer vision. This allowed us to turn expensive and bulky instruments with low-cost and portable alternatives that can be deployed at point of need. Our technology is currently working for Zika virus and is deployed in field trials in Latin America. We have conducted a field study, obtained no false positive and great accuracy. So currently, compared to our competitors, we provide a device that is both affordable, highly versatile, and throughput. What this means is that we can reach to more customers and conduct more tests. In terms of our business model, we currently sell our devices at $5,000 and anticipate our tests to be conducted at $35 per test. Outside of the pandemic, doctors already conduct about 70 million tests per year. With 70 million tests conducted at $35, this is a $2.5 billion per year market opportunity. To date, we already have 14 orders for environmental sampling and research use. We have 6 LOIs for healthcare applications. We are receiving interest from workplace screening pilots and mobile testing trailers that will be deployed in remote areas. Currently, our devices will be validated with third-party laboratory validation as part of a $500,000 CHR grant. After that, we will be deploying our devices in Ecuador, Colombia, and Canada for a multi-site trial. Our team is composed of myself and my co-founder, Livia. Together, we developed our devices during our master's in pharmaceutical sciences at University of Toronto. Our team also has a great advisors backing up us up with expertise in public health, human health, engineering, and business. Today, we are seeking $2 million to expedite market entry of our COVID-19 testing. This money will be used for laboratory validation required to bring this device to the market, securing supply chain and quality management, followed by multi-site trials. We expect to receive our regulatory approval by April 2021. Overall, we believe we are the diagnostic lab of the future with 20 pre-orders in line. Our device has been deployed in 4 countries and there's a 2.5 billion per year market opportunity. Thank you for listening.
So great, thanks for doing this, Siri. I'm very, I've been into this business before with Theranos, and they have patents on everything around this. Are you going to license their patents, or are you going to just give it a shot and try to work around them?
We are not going to plan on licensing Theranos' patents because we are using a different approach. We are not using fingerprint pricks. We are using serum, or that is collected from veins, or we are using saliva-based applications. So we are totally different than them, and we focus on infectious diseases only. We do not claim that we can do every test. And for our application, the way it works is that we use a camera-based approach where we take a picture and analyze the test results according to that. So that's where our proprietary algorithm lies.
And they didn't use a camera
they had a more optical-based approach, and their device was more complex than ours.
I see. So you're keeping it simple. It's a nice, simple device that can, and you're expecting this to be deployed in corporates. I mean, what happens when COVID goes away and people go, well, you know?
Yeah, so we believe that.
Why would any corporate want to force their employees to take a blood test?
Yes, so right now for infectious diseases such as COVID and flu, this will be saliva-based rather than blood-based. And we believe that in the future, the decentralized diagnostics will be coming to schools and workplaces so that employees are not getting liability due to infections. So we do think that testing will be around, although COVID goes away.
There are other saliva tests, especially for COVID, that are out there. I think University of Illinois is making a lot of news around that front, amongst others. How does this compare to what other people are doing?
So in terms of testing, we use third-party tests to be conducted in our device. So we do not claim propriety on the test. It's the device itself that does the analysis that enables tests to be conducted in a decentralized setting. In terms of the competitive landscape, yes, we agree that there's a lot of alternatives out there. However, we do believe that emerging markets are quite neglected at this point.
So wait, you said that you're using third party for the tests.
Yeah.
But then your device displays the results. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Yes.
Are you using like LabCorp and Quest?
No, we are using third-party reagents. So the
reagents that
are conduct the tests are third-party reagents.
I see. And then you use.
And we use our consumables to go with that.
And you have to get FDA approval for this, right? Or do you?
Yes, we need FDA approval to be deployed in US. However, we can sell it for research purposes only, and laboratories who are develop their own internal tests can use our device without having a FDA approval. But that is dependent on the laboratory itself.
So do you have any revenue now? Is the device done?
We had been selling our devices to research applications. So we have sold about 3 devices to date.
And how much did you sell them for? $5,000?
Yeah.
30 seconds, guys.
And how much do you make the device for?
It's about $1,500 to make.
And great. Why are you doing this?
That's a great question. So when we did the Zika virus field trials, we noticed the impact that testing can have on people, and that quite motivated us to address this lack of testing in the emerging world.
In the emerging world. So that's why your tests are so cheap. Why not charge more and go after the industrialized world?
That is the next step. So currently we believe that there is a high competition in the developed world. So we want to target the emerging markets first as a go-to-market strategy.
Is this low cost enough for the emerging world?
We believe so, based on the feedback we received.
Thank you, Saray. Thanks for participating in this, and appreciate it. The next company up is i2Chain. So I'd request i2Chain to start streaming, and Lsk can stop sharing. Thank you.
Can we all see the screen? All right, fantastic. Yeah. Hi, good morning again. And my name is Ajay Jotwani. I'm the co-founder and CEO of i2Chain. As the name suggests, we secure the 2 most valuable assets of an enterprise: identity, information. And what we deliver to our clients is secure and privacy compliant clouds, folders, and files. Now, imagine a mortgage banker that picks your personal and private information, W-2s, 1040s, so on and so forth, and transacts with over a dozen entities to underwrite a loan. Here is the problem. It takes mortgage bankers today in the United States 42 days to process at an average a loan. 60% of the time, they transact this information through 1970s technology called the electronic data interchange. I'm sure most of you have heard about it. And the 40% of the time, they are sending this information to co-processors and partners via snail mail, USPS, FedEx, or fax. The financial industry spends a staggering $14 billion, even in today's day and age, on sending these USPS and fax machines. TrustArc summarizes it very well. 75% of the enterprises are unable to securely share sensitive information and comply with privacy regulation. Now, i2Chain is a succinct, very easy to use, intuitive app that enables enterprises to securely share and transact identity information both within the enterprise as well as outside the enterprise. And we are file type agnostic, we are storage type agnostic, we are not selling a cloud, we are key orchestrators. And the reason I use the word I use the word intuitive, and we truly mean it, because this workflow chart represents not an enterprise administrator, but a content owner that can use our zero-click technology to classify a public cloud, a private cloud, or on-prem storage. The i2Chain application encrypts all the underlying files or information, enforces the policy that is set by the content owner, and the user shares it using Outlook, Gmail, Slack, Teams, WhatsApp, what have you, and the recipients access only chained files or trusted files. And the reason I call them trusted is because each file is encrypted, the policies are enforced, and every action is recorded on an immutable ledger for the first time, giving enterprises the unique capability to harvest evidence quality forensics, audit logs, establishing a life cycle chain of custody that merits immediate compliance with all the new privacy regulations like CCPA, GDPR, and what have you. The proof of the pudding: we have signed up a large multi-million-dollar deal with Tech Mahindra, a services technology services company. And at this point of time, we are working with one of their very large clients to deploy this solution across 4 continents. We also participated in a Citizens Bank Challenge and won their grand prize by delivering privacy compliant and traceable document handling. And at this point of time, Citizens Bank is considering rolling us out for both their consumer banking customer communication and commercial banking customer communication with over 7,000 of their business customers, if you will. We are also working with healthcare companies like Aluma and Amazon. Amazon is relatively new to healthcare, but we are working with them at this point of time, carrying out proof of concepts to deliver secure healthcare provider-to-provider communication. The best part about i2Chain is this team. Prior to i2Chain, I was the Vice President of Strategy and Product Management at IBM. During my tenure, I incubated digital workplace services and led digital workplace services to deliver $1 billion of signings in under a year. Partnering with me are experts in cybersecurity, and because we have worked very significantly in banking financial services, naturally the application leans towards banking and financial services industry. At this point of time, we are offering a very unique opportunity to the investor community as we offer a $3 million post-seed round. We are going to announce it in November. We're still working through the details. And the intent of that is to attain $2 million of ARR in 12 months. We are forecasting with the seed money that we have raised today in Q2 of 2020, we are forecasting $1 million of ARR exit in the current year. And with that, I'm open to questions.
So aren't there a lot of ways for people to store and store their files? And I mean, people do this in a lot of ways already. Why is this better?
Great question, Tim. You are absolutely right. There are so many content stores, and one of the biggest challenges is to say, Tim, I'm going to secure your information, bring it to my home, bring it to my cloud. We are key orchestrator. We are going to secure Tim in Tim's home. So we are going to secure you in your home. So our intent is to be, we are key orchestrators and the best ones out there, which means that even if you're a cloud provider like a Coinbase, falters, if you secure your information via i2Chain, you can be rest assured that it is hack-proof, phishing-proof, and secure.
I'm not sure I understand the details behind that. I mean, you know, what makes it better?
So that's a great question. So think of us on the edge of both security and privacy. TikTok is highly secure. You can't you cannot hack into Prashant, you cannot hack into TikTok, but you will not transact your material information on TikTok because it lacks privacy. So we are at the edge, and we enable enterprises to go on the edge of both security and privacy, and that makes us unique. The second thing that makes us unique is we are non-intrusive and storage agnostic. So we are not selling you a cloud. We are not selling you storage. We are saying that whatever your mechanism for cloud or on-prem storage is, or your mechanism for sharing information is, all we are going to do is supply you the keys and orchestrate them so that you can chain the information easily and you can consume the chain information very, very easily.
Have you thought about putting in a paywall here? So that you're, a paywall where your customer could charge for access to the data or whatever. I'm just thinking, you know, there may be some other applications for what you're doing.
You're absolutely right. So we're working with one of the Asian certificate authority at this point of time. It's very, very early stage. That could be a new business model where they charge close to around 15 Singaporean dollars to their customers for a certificate. And it's a big headache for them because these certificates have a validity. And every time you issue the certificate, every time their customer gives their certificate to their co-processors, they come back to the issuing agency to validate the certificate. So all of that is going to get completely eliminated, where we are going to be like a Visa, where Visa secures financial transaction. i2Chain will secure information transactions. If that answers your question, Ted.
30 seconds, guys.
Have you seen what Cipher Cloud is doing? And there are other companies out there,
Yes,
that also have a little bit of this.
Cloud very well. Cipher Cloud secures, it gives you a key for your Salesforce information, but think of us as SaaS, PaaS, on-prem storage, wherever. We do not differentiate between where you have your sensitive content. We will secure your sensitive content by delivering you the keys and orchestrating them for both security and privacy.
And you do some, so your special sauce is really that you're on-prem and so it's a SaaS model, and you just put your software on top of their software. Does that create, A, does it slow down the system, and B, does it add more friction?
No, not at all. Try our system. You can use it today. You can throw it out tomorrow. It's a SaaS space. It's non-intrusive. There is, in fact, we have worked with University of California at this point of time to some really, really cool encryption technologies. You'll be very pleasantly surprised that we are able to also bring down the size of the target file. The I2 chain file, I2C file, size is smaller than the original doc file or a PDF file, just as an example. So if for large volume financial transaction, we will speed up this game. We are truly Visa for information transaction securing.
I see. That's the way you're looking at yourself. You're not looking at yourself as a AWS.
We secure AWS.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, Amazon is the biggest cybersecurity company globally, but they are exploring a partnership with I2 Chain because what we bring to the table is very unique. Now, Amazon is still in early phases of conversation. We are beginning our proof of concepts with Amazon, but this is lifestyle changing and wealth style changing for us.
Would this be a hard thing for Amazon to do?
Well, it will be hugely time consuming. They do not have the time, they do not have this mechanics, and we have close to 6 patents today, 6 provisional patents on this, 1 patent and 5 provisional patents that we have applied for. And we are moving at the speed of light. We are an experienced team that can move fast.
Terrific. Great. I think we're out of time.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you very much. Next company up is Erie Green. I request you to come on board. And I think Tim's gone for
I'll be right there.
Yeah, just take a 1 second break.
In that break, Prashant, I'd love to get
Okay, I'm back.
Thanks, I2.
Okay, who's up?
Erie Green. I'm Shane Dyer. I'm the CEO at Erie Green. We make internet-connected digital sprinkler heads. So it'll be a bit of a shift from some of the other companies you've seen before. Problem we're going after here is that most water is used for cities is used outdoors to keep the plants green. But of that, about 42% is wasted. It's either not in the right place or it's too much. So that's about 80,000 gallons or about $600 to $1,200 per year per home in wasted water. Every story needs a villain, and this is ours. So regular mechanical sprinkler heads are bad because if you go out for a jog or anything else like that, you'll see these things spraying into the street, running down the driveways, things like that. But that's not where most of the waste is. Most of the waste occurs, if this is like a rectangular yard, all those green 100% areas, if you want to keep those from turning brown, you're putting almost twice as much water on the other parts of your grass or your landscaping. So that's where we come in. So my partner, our CTO, has 35 patents in inkjet printing, and what we created is a digital print head for irrigation. This is what it looks like. So it can basically follow any contour of the irrigation. We control it with our app to basically be able to water in any shape. It's amazing. And what it gives you is not only the ability to put water only where it's needed and not where it isn't.
So,
but
so
also
it pulls
saves-
back, sorry, pulls back on the pressure and puts more pressure on.
Yeah, it's
moves back
basically
and forth.
printing it, putting liquids exactly where you need them and not where you don't. But that saves 50% of the water and it saves thousands of dollars on irrigation. So the pitch to the customer is basically this: Mr. Customer, instead of wasteful, embarrassing sidewalk sprays, how would you like to save, somewhere on the order of $600 to $1,200 per year on your water bill? Not only that, it's not more complex, it's simpler. Instead of having 40 mechanical heads, you're going to have only five digital heads. And if you have 7 zones or more for your house, the cost is the same. So you'd be financially insane to put in a non-digital system and go back to the regular mechanical systems. Now, the channel, the contractors go through, they love it because instead of having to put in 1,500 feet of trenching and piping, they only have to put in about 20% of that, about 250 feet of trench and pipe, which means they can get an install in instead of 44 hours in about 16 hours. And that takes their profitability from about 24% to about 51%. They make a lot more money putting digital in than mechanical. IP protected, we have 4 years of R&D, 6 patents, 5 of them have already been issued, and it's independently proven. So Fresno State Center for Irrigation Technology did the white paper and showed over the very best mechanical systems, it saves 40% of the water for the same grass growth. Financial traction, we have over 250 systems installed. Second quarter, we've had about 100K sales on 13K of marketing spend. And last week we did about 160 leads, 33 meetings, 10 closes, which puts it about 23K last week on about 1.7K of like Facebook marketing spend, which is 3 times growth over our best weeks in Q2. So the CAC is about $500 for these customers. We make about $1,800 average profit per sale immediately, but 40% of that is recurring revenue. So that, a lifetime value for the customer is much higher. So it's time to scale this company. Last round in 19, I was incredibly fortunate. I went to every angel group I pitched funded. So starting with Band of Angels, Sandhill Angels, Berkeley, HBS Angels, things came through. It was supposed to be $1 million round. We oversubscribed it by 900K. Always take more money before COVID. Right now we're opening this up for a convertible note. With that, I'll turn it over to your questions.
Shane, what's the recurring revenue stream for?
So when we sell the system, we basically sell it when you buy the controller. Half of that, $750 of that, it basically gives you 3 years of weather data that comes down to adjust the wiring based on that. And it also gives you a monitoring service. So if anything goes wrong with your yard, a head breaks, the flow's not right, or you have a leak, we send you an alert. And you also get access to a portal where you can see how much water you put down and line it up with your water bill.
And after that expires, they can still continue to use it, or do you shut off the water?
No, they still can
so to
continue to
speak?
use it. It'll work just fine, but you won't get the weather data, the savings. So I'll have 3 years of weather data to show you why it's economical for you to continue to subscribe. But I've got your data at that point.
So is that an app?
Yes, it's all based on an app. So you basically have an app that brings this through as well. There's also an internet portal as well if you decided to come through it on that way.
I see. And so in my app, I can watch, see what's going on, how it's adjusted, how much water I've used.
Correct.
Where it's gone, all that.
Yep.
And that app, you're saying you're putting some intelligence in there that says, if it rains, we don't need to do this.
Exactly. There's a bunch of calculations in there to basically figure out if it's rain, if it's windy, if it's hotter, to figure out exactly how much water needs to be put down.
And do you anticipate it too? So you say, hey, the rain's coming. We don't need to water it right now. We'll wait till tomorrow.
Not yet. That's coming, but that's not the current product right now.
Can this technology be used also in farming?
Absolutely. So, I mean, things we've looked at is like, what we're essentially trying to do is take, eliminate this and put software and printing technology instead of mechanical sprinklers. So things we've looked at are like center pivot irrigation, like doing the corners off center pivot irrigation, things like that as well, to put down a completely even coating of water rather than a sprayed overlap point. However, we've started with landscape irrigation because that's the most accessible market for us right now to develop the technology.
Do you vary the aperture of the holes, or do you vary the pressure into the holes?
It's varying the pressure into the holes, and the holes are are very carefully designed, just like an inkjet print head, so that as that goes through, we also vary the speed at which the head passes, so that, if it's throwing farther, it's going slower than if it pulls back in. So it's basically a completely even coating of water.
Anything gone wrong with it so far? You've shipped how many of them?
250 of them. I think the biggest thing is probably the first systems we sent are kind of what I consider beta. So we'll probably go back. We don't want to support them anymore. So there's going to be some money spent to go back and replace them with our newest technology.
And what went wrong there?
Biggest part, we had some early heads that leaked, getting them sealed. We had a fitting that wasn't strong enough on the bottom in the very first ones that are fixed in the new versions. Those were the two biggest bugs.
So there were quality problems, nothing else.
Yeah.
And with the software, anything you've had to change or improve?
Only everything. I mean, you basically have software. It's at the edge in the printer. You have software in the controller, and then you have cloud software and you have app software. So you basically have to get 5 different pieces of software working together in harmony in order to make the whole piece work. Probably the most interesting part going forward is the cloud software, because that's where we do all the coordination and we do all the algorithms.
What does competition look like? Are there people using a similar approach?
Not a similar approach. Most companies, like the big guys, are Toro, Rainbird, and Hunter, that own that sort of $5 billion market. They have smart controllers, in other words, internet connected weather controllers that pull things like weather data down to compute how long they should run the mechanical systems, but they're still connected to dumb heads. So about 40% of the water savings we have is because we're using a smart head. And so that's our differentiation from the other companies in this space.
What?
Thanks. I think the time is up, Prashant. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Keep a little bit on schedule.
Can I ask how big the market is before you?
Yeah, it's about $5 billion for this landscape irrigation side.
And how big is Rainbird?
That's not farming at all.
How big is Rainbird and how big is Toro?
So
Toro does all that other stuff. How big's Rainbird?
Well, Rainbird's a private company. It's still family held on that part, but sort of thinking that sort of billion space somewhere in there.
Okay.
Toro is much larger than that, obviously.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next up is Quest AI. Quest AI. Yep. Thanks. You got.
Yeah. Sharing my screen. Great. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. This is Nagesh Pabati with Quest AI. We help companies build digital experiences 50 times faster. How do we do that? We built algorithms that take design documents and convert them into production-ready code instantly. This is a big problem because finding engineers is really hard to do. Finding the good ones is even harder. Right? So even if you had engineers, converting a designer's vision into an end user experience is really tedious, time-consuming, very iterative, and error-prone. So as a product designer, your ambitions are curtailed by how many engineers do you have and how good they are. And design is important for companies, not only because it's good user experience, it is good to the bottom line. As studies have shown, companies are already investing in design. On an average, you'll find good designers anywhere in the world. It's still really hard to find good developers anywhere in the world. So that's the gap that we are trying to bridge. We are a design-centric, no-code platform where you can bring any design from any tool of your choice, and then instantly it becomes a live experience. So the biggest thing is you preserve your workflow. So you work with whatever design tools of choice, Figma, Sketch, or Adobe XD, instantly have a pixel perfect experience that's fast loading, and you can hook it up to real data. So you can build like websites, business applications, any experiences you want. We launched in Q3 last year, and already we have over 13,000 user accounts. All organic growth, mostly coming from our partner integrations. And the biggest part is all of these free users are becoming a pipeline for us to get enterprise customers. So just this year, we've signed up 6 enterprise customers, and we're already at over $110,000 in ARR. And we have $1 million in pipeline that's waiting for us to take. But this is a massive opportunity. So based on our internal customer pipeline and how they segment out and their willingness to pay, ranging from $500 a month all the way to $3,000 a month and above, we estimate this to be a $14 billion opportunity globally. So this has been done before. You might have heard of no-code solutions in the past, but the attempts in the past have been tailored towards individual users, towards freelancers, and so on. We are taking on and building this as an end-to-end solution for enterprises. So it's built at a much higher spec and quality, also flexibility. So for example, with companies, you can preserve your existing workflow. You don't have to rip everything apart to use our platform. So it weaves in very gracefully. And we have perfected this, our algorithms, using our user usage data over the last 3 years. So it is much, much better than anything that's out there right now. The biggest part of our differentiation is we have a team that comes from companies like Apple, Salesforce, Yahoo, where we have built products used by millions of users globally. We are raising a $3 million seed round right now, and I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
So yeah, we backed Webflow, and they're just knocking it out of the park. Why would people go to this? What's going to be? How is this going to be better than Webflow?
Yeah, in a couple of ways. First off, Webflow is doing a great job. They're a pioneer in this. So the biggest differentiation is we preserve the workflow of a team. So with Webflow, you design wherever, and then you go back, and in Webflow, you have to recreate it. So the workflow of the team is already broken. The second thing is Webflow is good. It provides this walled garden end-to-end approach, right? So you can build a fully functioning website that's ready to launch. So that usually works for a lot of smaller companies, agencies, freelancers, and it's still not an enterprise solution. Enterprises need the flexibility of picking and choosing which part of the workflow they want to be in, how end-to-end they want to go, where they want to drop off, how they want to integrate with existing things that they've already built. So that's our big differentiation versus Webflow.
With the enterprise,
is there any way they can get there? Or do you think that since they're going after small and medium-sized businesses, they're not going to,
yeah, so
they can't make it cooperative?
Yeah, exactly. So some of the choices we make when we are building a company, that kind of makes it harder to go back and do things differently, right? So they have set down on this path of giving this designers and freelancers the ability to build websites. So if they want to go after enterprises, they have to backtrack and re-architect their whole thing, which is possible, which they could do, but I think it's pretty unlikely. So they are set on the market that they're going after. And we are built as enterprise solutions from the ground up, which includes like collaboration across various stakeholders in the company, version control, so you can roll back whatever you built, right? So that gives us the ability to go after these enterprises right from the get-go.
They do version control too.
Yeah, so they do version control, but it's like rollback. So for example, they don't even do like multivariate testing, right? So for us, if we get it out of the gate, they don't do like a multi-language support, right? So you have to use some third-party plugins and so on. In addition to that, in our case, you can build something on Quest and take it out as a module that you can embed within your existing code base, and vice versa. If you have something already built, you can bring that into Quest. So it gives that level of flexibility for enterprises to pick and choose where they want to use. They don't have to transition in one go. They can transition over a period of time.
For the enterprises that you're targeting, what size enterprises, who are you targeting within the enterprise?
Yeah, so a couple of things, right? So right now we are seeing traction across various sizes. So all the way from 200 people to thousands of people. So we are seeing price points that people are paying us $500 a month all the way to $3,000 a month. We're on conversations where people like Dentsu, they're willing to pay $20,000 to $50,000 a month. So one of the things that we are trying to figure out in this next phase is to more focus a little bit more, right? So to go after specific market segments that are scalable and so on. So we are going after like $1,000 and above companies is the hypothesis.
Who's the user? You know, when you go to a large enterprise, like you mentioned,
yeah,
who's the actual user versus, you know, who makes that purchasing decision? One of the challenges that these kinds of solutions have with enterprises, if they have a large enough team, then they tend to just do it themselves and not use these kinds of, you know, off the shelf, hey, this will make my coding faster. That value prop doesn't necessarily resonate with them. So I'm trying to understand.
So great question, right? So our initial product wedge within enterprises is not the tech org itself. We are going after the business orgs like marketing and sales, right? So marketing and sales, they have the biggest pain point in terms of what they want to build, how often they want to build, how quickly they want to build. And typically they get no love from the engineering org, right? So that's where they're going through this pain of hiring agencies, doing through the RFP process and so on. And they are the ones that are most willing to sign up right now. But what we see happening is once an organization, a group in a company sees how well it works and how easy it is, the next step they're organically doing is pulling their product teams into the conversation saying, hey, look, we built this, we built our website with Quest, it's so easy. Now, why don't we build a product as well using this? Then it's a much more like a natural conversation that happens.
Sorry to interrupt. You know, I think the time's up. I need to keep on schedule. So I appreciate your Quest. Thanks for your presentation. Next up is Infinalytics.
Thank you.
So if you can stop sharing up. Yeah, apologize for cutting you off in the middle, but
no
we have a hard stop. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Infinalytics, you're up. You're on mute, though.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. We've all heard about different companies. Everyone is influenced. Every company is influenced by insurance. Did you know that more than 80% of the insurance data is in unstructured format, and more than 75% of the time is spent in manually organizing and analyzing this data for insights and patterns? This leads to process inefficiencies that is contributing to more than $150 billion loss to the insurance companies just in the United States, and definitely is one of the contributors to our rising premiums every year. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sri Ramaswamy, and I'm the founder and CEO of Infinalytics. At Infinalytics, we have created the insurance industry's very first pre-built insights engine that delivers insights and patterns in minutes. Oops. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry.
But it's not moving. If you're
We're still on the first slide. There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. The Insights Engine has been also recognized by Gartner as a separate quadrant in their September 2019 report. And they define the Insights Engine as the ability to deliver actionable insights sourced from multiple different types of data. That's exactly how we have built our Insurance Insights Engine. It's been pre-trained over 35 million claims and several different types of claim documents, PDF, Excels, invoices, email messages, etc. It's got more than 3,000 plus pre-built insights leveraging our patent-pending artificial intelligence and machine learning. And not to mention, we have also defined several custom-built NLP and ontologies. It works in 3 simple ways: load data, search, and discover. This is what the product looks like. I'm the claims manager. I can go into the system and put in any of the most trending topics or the topics that I'm looking for, and also select any of these filters here. And very quickly, I'm presented with the insights and patterns that are more risky or going towards litigation. And as a claims manager, I can also very quickly jump to the individual claims that are exhibiting these risky patterns and assign this to my senior most adjuster to keep the process moving very efficiently. I can also look at the machine learning. If I'm a claims manager or a litigation counsel or an underwriter, I can very quickly leverage the machine learning patterns that show me a combination of entities, significant entities and topics, and use this to adjust my reserves or to mitigate the claim from getting into litigation. This has only been possible by the industry experts we brought in that collectively gave us more than 130 years of insurance experience, starting from regulatory all the way to the technology and commercialization of large projects. We have raised 1.4 million in angel investments to date, and that has given us the ability to achieve 3 key milestones: 1.6 million in revenue to date, 2 channel partners where we have integrated our APIs in their claim workflows, and 5 qualified search prospects within 5 weeks of TiE Search launch. This is an $80 billion market. Today, we are raising a $250K round at 4 million cap to get us to 10 customers, 1 million in ARR by April 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to join our mission in getting the TiE Search and removing the process inefficiencies within every insurance companies, because we deserve a better and a fair and efficient insurance experience. Thank you very much.
Terrific. Thanks, Sri. So you said you've raised 1.4 million from angels, and you've got 1.6 million to date. Is that in the last 12 months, the 1.6?
The 1.6 is in the last 3 years.
Oh, so what's happened there? What happened to the revenues in those 3 years?
So we have done an average of about 350 to 400K in ARR every year consecutively.
So each year's been 350, or the first year was 800 and the next 2 years were 200?
No, each year has roughly been between 350 to 400.
Okay.
Last year.
And then you're doing it at a 4 cap. That sounds very low. If the 1.4 million in the angel round, what was the valuation of that?
We have done a combination. There's been one we have done, the most recent one we've done is at 2 million cap.
Oh. So you've given away a lot of the company in a short time.
Those were mostly safe notes.
What you sell this, your 1.6 million in revenue, that's all you sell to the insurance company, you provide this service, is that right?
That is correct.
And did you work for an insurance company before this?
Yes, I did. So I've got more than 20 years of experience in launching advanced analytic solutions, and last 13 plus years has been in the insurance industry. And prior to starting Infolytics, I launched 2 solutions, one for underwriting and one for claims. That's when I realized that a lot of the unstructured data is not being leveraged, and this is impacting decisions that the insurance company staff is taking, and it finally impacts all of us. And we've all seen this, and we're all seeing this at COVID times now.
And you've in effect automated the process that you ran for those 20 years, is that right?
Absolutely. So what I have done is I've basically provided an ability to automatically process unstructured data, and leveraging all the experts that we brought in. They also put in their domain interpretation knowledge into this that has been able to allow us to process the unstructured data and translate that to insights very quickly.
Did you think about maybe instead of selling this, if it's that valuable, just starting an insurance company, you could provide a better service for less?
We are headed in that direction slowly.
You mentioned that
if you already give away the crown jewels, then all the other insurance companies will have them.
I think we, with about 8 or 10 more customers, and we collect these anonymized insights because these insights belong to us. We are patent pending on that. And, with that, I think we definitely have a much better chance with the insights engine to automate the claims process completely. And also right now, one of our customers is using it to, effectively manage their hurricane claims. And they're using a lot of these in their risk profiling, in their underwriting for hurricane claims. So yes, we are seeing this being used in underwriting, and there is nothing that stops us from becoming the insurance company ourselves.
And the insurance company of the future won't have this claims agent at the software. It'll be surveillance and whatever else. Are you moving in that direction, or are you kind of thinking, no, I'm going to serve the claims agent?
No, this is supposed to replace the claims agent, And slowly it is also supposed to be embedded with all the different data sources and embedded into autonomous cars or, anything that wherever there is a liability issue, you don't even need to have a claims agent. We are able to bring all the different types of data and embed that within the insights. Today, our insights are dependent on the unstructured data sources, but no, we can take in images today. We are already reading images. We're already working with voice and things like that. So absolutely nothing stops us from going that direction. It will just take some time to get there, but definitely a great opportunity lies in our roadmap for that.
Thank you. Prashant, sorry, I'll have to, I apologize.
Sure. Well, Prashant, I do want to hear your question. Can we do that quickly? I want to hear your question.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was, you've got all these customers now for the past few years. What's the value that they've actually seen? Did they reduce the number of agents? Was it claim processing throughput, or how did they quantify it?
So when we were actually working with customers, the best value we have seen is the reduction in time, reduction in claims volume, and also reduction in the allocated loss expenses, as they call it.
I'm sorry, the allocation of?
Allocated loss adjustment expenses. These are expenses that are, incurred for running the claim, or, it's the cost of the claim.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And our last company up is Zetaris. So if the Zetaris folks can put up and transmit. Thank you. Yep, we can see you.
You can see me? Great. Let me just get this right.
And they're calling in from Australia, I believe. So.
Yeah. Good day, Tim and Prashant. I'm Vinay, all the way from Melbourne, Australia, and it's only 4 in the morning. So.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for picking up.
No issue, mate. No issue. I love talking about data, and my family loves hearing about it. So we're going to have a great time. Let me go full screen, I think. Can you see it now? Is that okay? Or
yeah, we can see it.
We can see it, but it's on the speaker
All right,
view.
let me go full screen.
Presenter view, yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope this works. Is that cool?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, great. Let me kick off. So Zetaris is a new type of data platform. We are disrupting the $500 billion BI and data integration markets by actually reversing the way data is prepared and analyzed in enterprises. So the dirty little dark secret of the data industry, and I've been involved in it for 20 years. I've had 3 other startup experiences bringing data platforms to the market. All of those businesses are billion-dollar companies today. The dirty little secret that we've fallen upon is that 85% of data projects fail, and that's documented by the analysts, and the industry knows this. And the truth is that big organizations really don't have a big data problem. They have a messy data problem, and the data's everywhere. It's in the cloud, it's in hundreds of or thousands of databases, it's across their network of partners. And what they try and do is, using traditional technology or data lake or data warehouse platforms, they bring that data, they move it and copy it through complex transformation processes and recoding, and they move it all into a data lake and a data warehouse. And that's fraught with errors. It causes massive amount of human consumption in terms of labor. And it's very slow in terms of trying to keep up with a customer that's got expectation of real time. So the timing is right. The industry knows this, and the industry is hungry for disruption. And we've done that. We've brought to market a technology called the Zetaris Data Fabric. It's the world's fastest governed distributed SQL engine. And basically, our concept is, rather than moving the data to the user or the BI tool or the AI engine, why don't we move the algorithm, the query to the data, and govern the way that happens and automate the transformation? So basically what Zetaris is, it's a software layer that creates a virtual data lake, a virtual data warehouse. It connects to data anywhere, data in the cloud, data on devices, on-prem, and we use AI and automation to do the heavy lifting in terms of creating that high integrity, governed, high quality view of the data for the tools. And the tool vendors and the AI agents. So we go to market with 2 modes. One is through our automation business point and click app, which generates code across what we call the data fabric. And again, the data fabric is data that's anywhere. Or for the more heavy techie folks, we have a full API encoding framework so that they can create microservices within and across the cloud. And it's interesting, we thought the app was going to be the hit. It's actually the black and white screen that's the hit. In fact, the largest telco in Australia are really excited about what we can do to transform their data environment. And they're a customer. So the traction to date, look, it's taken a long time to build the technology. It's heavy enterprise technology. But we're in the market now. We've got early customers. One of the more recent bits of traction is that we won a global award from Ingram Micro, which was really a search for high growth startups. And they gave us a non-equity funding investment, which takes us to 9 countries across the globe, and it gives us access to 240,000 resellers. We also have leading systems integrators who have been signed up to take us to market. We don't have a sales force, and we've raised some money to get us this far. And in terms of funding, we're looking at doing a big Series B next year, large amount of money. This goes big. This is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, but we're taking a much smaller bridge to help us be prepared for that Series B. Lots of recognition for the team. We've got a rock star team. As I said, I ran Asia for companies like Netezza, Greenplum, and Vertica. Today, Greenplum's called Pivotal Labs. Vertica is part of the HP group, and Netezza was end of life recently by IBM after being $1 billion exit. So we've won, last year we won the Disruptor of the Year in terms of the award that the Australian Computer Society gave us. And our team is a rockstar team of the best talent I could find over 20 years across Asia who build parallel processing systems. The business model is simple. It's 1 cent per query second. We simply let our users log in, create an account, connect their data using automation. There's no heavy upfront investment. We're disrupting the way these kind of technologies is consumed. And the net result, the impacts are, for comparative projects doing it with big data platforms, we help our customers by going to market 10 times faster, so having the data products ready 10 times faster at a cost that's 6x less. This slide is a really complex slide, but I wanted to show you we've mapped out 7 different growth strategies in our growth pipeline, and behind this slide is really detailed execution plans and delivery plans. We use a similar model in other startups, and it works. Really the growth strategies are about how systems integrators, consulting partners, as I said, distributors, cloud vendors, and also our own SaaS and also our own industry app store gets us to, by mid next year, to being a multi-million-dollar monthly SaaS business. So in summary, the timing is right. The industry knows the problem. The product's ready. We've got early validation. We know we're early, so we need help to get to America. We need help to keep up with our partners who are dragging us across the globe because they love the technology. And that's it from me.
Terrific. Thank you, Vinay. So what are your revenues now?
So we call ourselves pre-revenue, Tim. However, we've taken in the last 3 years, as we've kind of co-developed in a lean customer development mode with our customers, we've averaged around about 2 million a year. And that's validation that people are willing to pay for parts of the solution as we developed it. Now
so
that
that's
it's
kind of consulting work with the customer.
We called it data as a service because we did actually load up the software value. So we charged them for software licenses for the bits and pieces we had along the build phase. We've just come out of that build phase first quarter this year. And we are, as I said, the model is through partners, we look to accelerate revenue.
And the problem you laid out was a problem that doesn't seem to be exactly the problem that you're fixing, and that is that different disparate data is hard to link together and make it so that it all makes sense. It seems like what you're doing is just making it come together faster, and you but you aren't actually tying one piece of data to another piece of data.
That's a great question, Tim. We absolutely do that. So what's behind the scenes is a deep AI engine and a bunch of templates and automation to solve for the data governance problem you just talked about.
So you do, like, you use some sort of AI to say, oh, you know, last name and first name, you flip them around and you get there.
Absolutely. So the problem being, you know, in organizations, entities and things are called the same thing, but they might have different meaning. And no one really knows what the model is behind each application or data store they have. And to create that unified model, you have to have this way of creating what's called the logical business model. So we automate that. And that's the big part of the problem. That's a big part of the pain.
You're leaving the data in place. You're saying, right, this is kind of a virtual data. I don't want to call it a database because that's not what it is. But
yeah, we call it analytical data virtualization. And in fact, the early experience is that our customers leave about 80% in place and they might materialize 20%. So it's more of an 80-20 kind of rule. The 20% of the time is where they have some sort of, hang up about us touching their source systems, and we're happy to materialize those cases. For instance, in a large bank, they didn't want us to run what we call our microprocessors on their ATM switch, because the ATM is there to serve the customer, not to run analytics. But I think they'll get over that in time.
What are your first few customers using it for?
Yeah. Okay. So Telstra in Australia, they've gone public. They're using us for consolidating data across literally hundreds of different data stores, including Teradata systems, Oracle systems, big data lakes, and consolidating it for business use cases. We're also part of the Telstra Data Exchange project, which is a whole new revenue business for them. For a large health research company in Australia, the biggest the biggest health research company in the Southern Hemisphere, we are creating a single view of radiography data, billing data, patient interview data, treatment data, so that their researchers can speed up the cycle time and the iterative process they go through in bringing research-based solutions in the health space to the market.
What have you lost customers over, and how are you retaining them?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So far in the full, delivered product, we haven't lost a customer. We tend to, this stuff is really, the customer gets hooked on it, because we take the customer, number one, from technology people driving it to the business people driving it. And for the first time, the business can see everything. They can see all the data in their company, and they can start envisaging all the use cases. And actually, once the product lands, they get hooked on it, and new projects just start to arrive. We're seeing this at Telstra and another telco we're in. We're seeing it at the banks we're in. So, but from the legacy build customers, we had a couple of situations early in our development where the competitor, big companies like Oracle, IBM, HP, basically came in and bought the project and muscled us out. But I think now it's hard for them to do that when we've got a full product that they just can't bring any type of solution to stand up against.
Do you think they'll buy the company?
Well, in the last three ones that I've been involved in, it was a trade sale exit in the hundreds of millions. One was in the billion. We are going all the way. This has got long legs. I want to go to an IPO. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. But this is big,
Well, thank you, Zataris. On that note of going IPO, I think we can wrap it up. That's a great finish to the whole session. If you can stop sharing, and I'll give Tim a few minutes, a minute or so to put his thoughts together. Just wanted to thank a couple of people before I do that. Again, thank you for all of you participating in this, 10 companies. I did want to thank Women Venture Partners who have been very helpful in screening some of these companies, the TiE50 companies, to present to in the Meet the Drapers show. I also wanted to thank Sarika Batra, who was a producer for Meet the Drapers, and she's been extremely helpful, again, in this whole process of getting Meet the Drapers involved with TiE50. So thank you all. And with that, I will stop sharing. And Tim, maybe you can share some thoughts in closing. And if you want to share any particular companies that you are highlighting, etc.
Terrific. Yeah, that was really great. The quality of the companies that come out of TiE are amongst the best. I mean, certainly this is higher quality than, I mean, it's maybe quite a bit higher quality than you see at YC, and almost and maybe equivalent to what you see at Boost. This was really a good group, and I am going to encourage Sarika. We're going to talk about which ones that we want to bring onto the show, but I think we're actually going to select quite a few, and some of these I may be interested in meeting and potentially funding, and some were unique enough to make me feel like this is going to be a great long-term partnership. I think I really like what I saw, and I hope we continue to do this. A couple I think were. I mean, I can quickly run through my thinking on each of the companies. Steadywave, the Parkinson's thing, I think is exciting and very helpful. I don't know if it goes to the root cause. I tend to like things that go to the root cause. Instead, it's like a Band-Aid on the problem. But the market size is decent, not extraordinary, and your customers, I'm afraid, die off. But still great business. The next one, Agricole. Wait, Anna.
So Tim, I don't know whether we have the chance to kind of the entire. If you want to run through that quickly, that's great. But since the main TiECon is going on, I wanted to make sure we release the folks there.
Okay, Agnicool, it's the rocket thing. I think that we've really got to check with my friend who's run a company just like it. The IoT security, I thought it was actually kind of interesting, and I think people are going to do well doing that. So it might be an interesting long-term business. The Clocker, I thought it kind of was interesting. I think you can, I do think about what happens to all this stuff I've done, and do I really want my kids to have to plow through it all, and what to do there. I think that could be a new interesting model. LSK, let's see, what was that? Oh, COVID test, the tests. Yeah, it had some potential. I worry about anything that's sort of tied to COVID, because I think that goes away on election day. Although, and also the FDA, I mean, I'm worried that it's a little like, too much like Theranos. I2 Chain, I thought that was very interesting. The SaaS application, the deal with Mahindra. I thought that, yeah, the privacy of the folders, I think, is going to be really something corporates are going to care about. Erie Green, I think, may have been my winner of the group, because I've never seen anything like it, and I hear my wife complain about our Rainbird system constantly. And
wives have a great influence on the investment strategy then, right?
Yeah, actually, happy wife, happy life. And then Quest AI, I thought it was exciting. I think Quest AI is exciting to take Webflow to the corporate, but I think Webflow may win that market, and we'll have to see. Infinalytics is the insurance. I started out thinking it was.
I think governments need to be involved somehow.
The guys who are on mute, can you mute yourself? Anybody who's on.
So Infinalytics, at first I thought, oh gosh, it's just selling to the insurance companies, whatever. But when her eyes lit up when she said, yeah, we're going to create an insurance company, it made me rethink this, and so I was more excited about it than before. And Zetaris, I was, I think that's one that is really going to take a lot of, like, for me as an investor, it's going to take a lot of checking with your customers to see if they love it the way you think they love it. So that's it. That was my assessment. We will be in touch with some of you to come join us on Meet the Drapers, and I hope you'll join. It's a great way to raise money. It's a great way to get exposure, and 9 million people now are watching, and we are building our distribution beyond that. I mean, we actually have 9 million people watching. It isn't just exposure to 9 million people. So this is working, and the finalists from last year pretty much filled their $1 million raise. They, sort of $500,000 to $1 million. They pretty much got it, and so we think that this is a great model. I think we build our deal flow through TiE and other places, bring it to Meet the Drapers, and then we get them funded by the viewers. So I'm looking forward to talking with all of you. Sarika and I will go over what we've seen, and we'll let you know how we want to proceed. Kamal, thank you so
Tim.
much. This was great fun.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for the partnership, and you're absolutely right. I think the quality of our submissions, from worldwide has been quite impressive. So I appreciate all the startups also applying to TiE50, and we are continuing to build the brand. So thank you all, and we're going to close the meeting now. And
good job.
All the best to all of you folks. Yep.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of TiECon.